What's going on, everybody? So clearly, we're in a different location right now. Um, just kind of getting back to the swing of things, getting back to what really matters to me. Just had a great workout and everything like that. Decided to kind of, I don't know, I was feeling a little nostalgic. So I wanted to get out here, back out to the fields, and get some BP in, run some poles, you know, just get back to kind of my natural habitat, which is the baseball field, the baseball diamond. And I mean, those that know me for real, they know that like baseball was always like something that I was naturally gifted at and things of that nature. Um, I chose basketball just under circumstances and things of that, and the advice I was given at the time. I wouldn't change anything if I had a chance to choose baseball over basketball just because I don't know what my life would look like. I could say and think like in hypotheticals and in theory, but that doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I enjoy baseball, so that's why I decided to come out here, just getting this atmosphere and this environment. You know, I feel like it's been a long time since I've even gotten excited to be at the baseball field. I couldn't stand to come back around the diamond in any way, shape, or form for a lot of different reasons. And I know a lot of you probably thinking this is completely different than what you've normally been posting. Like, what's this have to do with anything? It's just a reminder and to encourage you to, you know, spend time with the environments and atmospheres that remind you of happy memories that bring joy to your life and to your spirit. You know, um, you don't have to. It's easy to get caught up with life and things like that, and we all have responsibilities. So I'm not telling you to neglect those, but it's just more so about making sure that things are in alignment with how you perceive things, and how you feel about yourself, and just reminding you that there's some good out there, and there's still some good out there for you to obtain, even if there's good that you've had in the past. So yeah, and I don't know, man. I'm really excited about like how life's transforming and taking things one day at a time. I summer is approaching, things of that nature, making sure that we're drinking our water, we're getting the proper rest, sleeping our sleep schedules if we need to, making those adjustments in our habits if we need to, and making sure that we continue to uh, strive to be the best versions of ourselves. Um, I had an old coach of mine. We kind of got back up a couple of weeks ago, and we got some BP in, and um, did some defensive drills. Just out in the outfield, and you know, um, it was nice. It was a good experience because hadn't really got a chance to catch up with that coach in about several years since playing professionally and leaving and things like that. So um, I think it's just another reminder that and obviously it was several years, maybe even 10 years since I picked up a bat, since I really picked up a glove like in a semi-serious atmosphere. Like not just messing around with your family or your friends to play catch. But man, when I tell you, it was humbling, but it was also good because it reminded me, the beauty of baseball that it's not quite like golf, but it is something that you need to practice every day if you want to hone in on your skills and become the best player that you can become. And it's just super valuable and important to make sure that you build on your skills every day. That's what the type of advice that I was given, in my younger part of my career. But that's the advice that I would extend to, players and guys up and coming, whether it's baseball, whether it's basketball, um, you know, even if it's a sport that I didn't play competitively. And, just, enjoy the journey. It's not going to always be easy. You're not always going to have success, but it's not about the failure or success. It's about how you react when you have success. How do you react when you have failure? When you have success, do you feel like you've made it, and do you stop doing the the things and the habits that got you success in the first place? When you have failure, do you hang your head down and do you quit? Do you give up? Is that it? And there's wow, a woman's shirt, as I'm seeing now, is faith. So you gotta have faith in yourself. You gotta have belief in yourself. And yeah, I mean that's the type of advice I would give to the younger generation of athletes and the entrepreneurs out there, and just people that have a dream, have aspirations, have goals that they want to achieve. And I don't think that you should allow another person's opinion to deter you from what it is that you want to go after and achieve, especially if it's not somebody who has achieved what it is that you would like to achieve for yourself. Everyone's going to have an opinion. That's life. It comes with it. It comes with the territory. But you can choose who you listen to and like what advice you implement. And I just would say to trust that daily process, because it's really going every day is going to be different. you know it's great to get a routine to try and make things as similar as possible so you can get those reps in, whether it's mental, physical, spiritual. But at the end of the day, you got to just be able to um, you know be flexible at the same time. You got to be able to adjust to the adversity, adjust to when certain things come up, and when differences, um, and just even if it's a minor challenge, a minor change, that you have to change your routine for that day specifically, and just make sure that you get back to the routine as best as possible the next day. Like if you missed a workout or your body and you had to take a rest day, don't try to make it all back at once the very next day, but make sure you do a little bit of extra, and if you miss a day with your Bible habits, to make sure that you fix that as well. Put some extra time in the Word. I'm always going to talk about the Word. I know this is a different message and different type of talk, but yeah, I'm always going to keep that in mind. Feels good, every time I talk with the community and everything like that, sharing little bits and pieces of myself. I'm working on being a little bit more open. I wouldn't say vulnerable. I wouldn't say vulnerable, but just a little bit more open about like, myself, my life, my story. Those who it resonates with, who can relate to it, whether it's athletics, whether it's just life, whatever. Um, if I can inspire anyone, motivate anyone, if I just remind somebody of a family member, of a son, of whatever, and I was reminded of that in the presence of God. Even a few weeks ago, I was just out shopping, and an older Cuban woman, she came up to me, and I didn't know this woman at all, and she that's another thing I'm working on. I'm working on the monotone. That's just how I've been my whole life, so bear with me. But Cuban lady, Cuban woman. She was cool. She was real cool. It was like I had a it's like I found a long lost like Cuban auntie or something like that. You know, she was funny, she was cool. I think I reminded her of her sons that she said served in the Air Force. Showed me pictures of them, and mind you, this is a stranger, like complete stranger, and she came up and approached me, um, complimented me too. You know, very handsome and all this stuff, which was cool. It was nice, but you know, I knew it wasn't like she wasn't meaning anything beyond that. So I wasn't like uncomfortable or anything like that. But I just say all to say like you never know, um, how that could have made her day that I wasn't standoffish or anything like that. Um, maybe something's happening with her son, and I may be seeing a younger man, maybe close to her son's age, reminded her, and she gave good advice. Like just how an auntie, how a mother, how an older woman in your family would, you know, speak to you, but maybe the one that'll be a little bit more real with you too. So it was a good balance. It was cool. Um, you know, and I think God, He sends angels, like human, earthly angels, on our path sometimes to remind us of what we need to, stay focused on. And she. I mean, I'm not gonna forget that experience just because I've had similar experiences with other people throughout my life, years beyond, and I still remember those. So I know I'll remember that. We spoke for about 20, 25 minutes in the store, and again, never seen this lady in my life. She never seen me, and yeah, it was very a dope experience. It reminds you about the good in humanity. You know what I'm saying? So like I mentioned in a previous video, not everybody's out to get you. Not everybody's out to wish on your downfall and things of that nature. I know it's easy to like feel like that at times, but there are good people out here, and what they say is true though. Like it be strangers sometimes that give you the most love than people that actually you would bank on showing you that type of love. And that's just life, and that's just seasons of life. And I'm not here to act like I'm just this all-knowing man or anything like that, this perfect man, but I've just come to experience life in a whole different light in the past several years than I did in my previous 20 plus years. And I mean, I'm excited about the person I'm becoming too, because I'm not like performing. I'm not trying to act like I'm perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's about you know what type of legacy do I want to leave? Like what type of impact do I want to have on people's lives, whether they know me, whether they don't know me. If I've been at odds with people, like if I see people and they still feel like we're at odds and stuff like that, then I just realize that's something that they got to work on for themselves. You know what I'm saying? My bad. I'm not trying to get stung by this bee, a wasp, whatever it is. Sometimes I read things they say that's monitoring spirits, but like yeah, I was not trying to get stung right here. But I just I just thank God for giving me another chance, another opportunity at life. And it's a blessing when you haven't really felt like yourself, but you know in due time you will start to feel like yourself again. You'll start to appreciate the positivity that comes with life. You'll appreciate the negativity of life too. You'll react to it differently. You'll respond to it. You'll interpret it differently, and you won't be like in this victim mind state of like, why me? You'll just be like, all right, what is this trying to teach me? What am I supposed to be learning at this time? And yeah, man, I'm just grateful that like there are people that didn't give up on me and things like that, even when there were times I wanted to even give up on myself, to be quite honest with you. And I think that's just about being open and honest. Like, I'm sure that everybody has doubts and self doubts and certain types of fears in different aspects of their lives. it's just a certain handful of us that are actually going to be open and honest about it, let alone put it out here for the masses, for anybody to see. And that's just like being comfortable in your own skin. It comes with time, comes with practice, comes with daily habits. Just like I mentioned about the athletes coming up, like you want to hone in on your skills, like this is how you hone in on your skills, like with being open and honest with people, being transparent, letting people know what it is, letting people know what it's not, and then giving them the choice to decide if they want to, be around it, be a part of it, and then you go from there, man. Like, but not withholding any information, um, putting your best foot forward, whether it's relationships, whether it's any of that, whether you're pursuing somebody, and you'll be surprised. Like you'll be surprised on both sides. Like you'll be surprised the people how they react, whether it's a reaction you expected or if you didn't expect, and that could be positive or negative, depending on the person, depending on the reaction, and like you just learn to roll with it. You know what I mean? Like it's never that serious. It's never that deep. You don't gotta like you know cause a scene or nothing like that. It's like I mentioned about the crowd. And I'm not saying that people you're pursuing are a part of the crowd, but maybe some of them are. Who knows? But that's neither here nor there. It's just like I mentioned, you don't have to judge the crowd. You can just not be a part of it. Same way, like you pursuing somebody, and you know, clearly things aren't in alignment. You don't see eye to eye. You just, you just remove yourself. That's all. Like you don't wish the person ill will. You know what I mean? Like your life was moving forward before you met them, before you decided to pursue them. Their life was moving forward before they met you, before you decided to pursue them. And guess what? After you guys part and you go your way, they go their way, your life's still gonna keep moving, time's still gonna keep going, their life's gonna keep moving, time's still gonna keep going. And like I think that's the beauty of life, it's just the game of life. You learn so much, man, when you just like open up to it. You open up to the possibilities. You don't try to limit yourself. You know, you go after what you want in life. If it's something that you can try again and again, you learn from mistakes. You learn through trial and error. And if it's something like that where you just remove yourself completely and well, like you still learn and you still can apply it. You just apply it for that that next time that you decide to pursue somebody, and it doesn't have to be like, oh well, okay, I'm just gonna go and do this with this person then because I feel like it. I got to get over this person. Like that stuff doesn't really work, man. You're still gonna always come back to that type of situation if you don't ever like properly put the time in to like you know to heal properly or to learn how to respond in a more mature manner, and things like that. But like real quick, the thing I wanted to say though about like if people who you've been at odds with and if you see them, like try to speak to them. You know what I mean? Just try to speak to them. I mean, the same time when I saw that Cuban lady and we had that great conversation, I know I felt amazing after speaking with her, and you could tell it was mutual. And you know, that very day, I saw somebody a family member who I've been at odds with, and I tried to speak to them, and you know, not even to like make a scene or nothing like that, or to attack them in any type of way, but just to like address certain things, how certain things had me feeling, how maybe certain things I did that could have made them feel a certain type of way. And I tried to have a conversation with them, like and it was very obvious through their body language, through their facial expression, and even verbal language that they aren't in a space for that. And that's okay. I'm not like judging them for it. It's just I continue to like pray for people, and people that I felt hurt by, people that I felt like I've been wronged by, people that I've wronged or that feel like I've wronged them in any type of way. And I think a lot of things can be fixed with communication, like proper communication. You know what I mean? A lot of issues in the world could be fixed if that was the case. You know, and I don't know, man. It's never your your burdens to carry. It's not your responsibility to carry other people's burdens or their opinions and feelings of how they feel towards you. Um, just wish people well, wish them the best, and then just like any relationship, whether it's family, romantic, platonic, if somebody's meant to be in your life, that's going to be evident, and there's always a proper time and place. So, yeah, man. I mean, I know I said a lot. But um, one day maybe have a family of my own or something like that, and just being able to tell like my own kids, one day whenever they go through something, and being honest with them that hey, pops wasn't always handling things the right way. This is what happened, and the aftermath, yada yada yada. If I were you, like typical parent stuff, but like actually giving them the real, and I know some parents do that, but some parents also want to be protective. They don't want anything bad to happen to their children, so they kind of like omit certain things and leave certain stuff out. But the best way to prepare, children for the world is to, be transparent. So I pray that one day that I have that opportunity to be transparent with, you know, my own, one day. But until that time, just going to continue to build on the habits that are, shaping my mind, shaping my spirit, shaping my physical, my mental, and my emotional well-being. And summer's approaching, spring break for people that are in school. That is just always a signal that like summer's really close. So just been locking in, man. Working on what I need to work on, and yeah, man. Just like let me know if this is different type of content that you guys want to see from me. Um, want to see me in different locations and things like that, especially with the summer coming around. Like, definitely open to that. So, I'm very thankful though for everybody rocking with me, and those that like, subscribe, and comments, all that. I appreciate every single one of you, and take care, man. And until next time, in due time.